Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Spark, the place where stories light up the path to self-discovery and growth. Today's story is called The Lesson of Seeing Possibilities Instead of Problems. It's a story about struggle, resilience, and the power of perspective. Teddy's life was filled with challenges, yet an encounter with an old man named Sonny changed the way he saw the world. Instead of focusing on problems, Teddy learned to search for hidden possibilities. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Inner Spark so that together we can keep inspiring lives with powerful stories. Teddy grew up in a small village where opportunities seemed rare. His family lived in a modest home. His father worked in a workshop, and his mother stitched clothes to make ends meet. Dreams in that place felt like luxuries, often crushed by the weight of survival. Teddy often stared at the horizon beyond the fields and thought, there must be more to life than this endless cycle. But whenever he shared his hopes, neighbors laughed, telling him he was unrealistic. Their words dug into his heart like thorns, slowly shaping him into someone who saw problems first, never possibilities. One chilly evening, Teddy dragged himself home from a shift at the bakery, defeated after failing a crucial exam. That scholarship could have been his ticket to study further, but now it was gone. Sitting alone on a broken bench in the village square, he buried his face in his hands. Just then, an elderly man named Sonny appeared, carrying an old sketchbook. Sonny, known in the village for his wisdom, sat beside Teddy and started sketching quietly. Curious, Teddy asked, why sketch here with all this noise? Sonny smiled. Because even in chaos, you can choose to see beauty. The trick, lad, is whether your eyes search for problems or possibilities. Teddy didn't fully understand, but something in Sonny's words touched him deeply. That night, Teddy couldn't sleep. Sonny's voice echoed in his mind. It's your eyes that decide. For the first time, he asked himself a different question. What if I've been blind to possibilities all along? Though his scholarship dream had collapsed, he realized there was still a chance to retake the exam in 6 months. Though money was tight, he still had time to save by taking extra shifts. The problems hadn't vanished, but the moment he shifted his lens, opportunities appeared like faint stars in a cloudy sky. The following weeks, Teddy started testing this new way of thinking. When customers snapped at him in the bakery, instead of sulking, he told himself, I'm learning patience here. When his boss scolded him for mistakes, he thought, this is practice for responsibility. Slowly, his burdens turned into teachers. But life wasn't about to let him win so easily. Just as he found new strength, disaster struck his home. His mother collapsed one night, and the doctor revealed she needed urgent treatment. The cost was beyond anything they could imagine. For a while, Teddy felt his old self creeping back, whispering, you're trapped. This is the end. But then he remembered Sonny's calm eyes and his words. Fighting despair, Teddy took a bold step. He set up a small fundraising campaign, telling his mother's story honestly. He expected little, but to his shock, people from nearby towns contributed generously. Some donated money, others brought food. Within days, enough was raised to begin treatment. That miracle shook Teddy to his core. For the first time, he realized problems really did carry hidden doors, if only you dare to look for them. With his mother's health improving, Teddy threw himself into his studies again. He worked by day, studied by night, and sacrificed his sleep for his dream. 6 months later, he sat for the retest. Fear tried to haunt him, but he reminded himself, this isn't a problem. It's an opportunity. Weeks later, when the results arrived, Teddy's hands trembled as he opened the envelope. Against all odds, he had passed, and with high marks. His family wept with joy, but Teddy silently thanked Sonny for planting that seed of perspective. Teddy's life began to shift. He earned a place at a university in a nearby town, a world far bigger than his village. Yet the new environment was intimidating. His classmates dressed better, spoke confidently, and often looked down on him. He overheard whispers like, he doesn't belong here. For nights, Teddy considered giving up, but then he reopened his notebook, where he had written Sonny's advice. See the road, not the wall. That reminder steadied him. He decided every sneer was not a problem, but a test of resilience. Determined, Teddy took on challenges others avoided. In group projects, he volunteered for the hardest tasks. In debates, he stood firm even when mocked. Professors began noticing his courage. Slowly, the tide turned. Students who once dismissed him now admired his persistence. Teddy discovered that the bigger the problem looked, the bigger the possibility hidden behind it. His confidence grew, and soon opportunities knocked on his door. Internships, mentoring offers, and even scholarships. But life tested him again. During his second year, his father lost his job at the workshop, plunging the family back into financial stress. Teddy almost dropped out to help at home. He paced his tiny dorm room, torn between responsibility and ambition. Then he remembered Sonny's smile. Problems are puzzles in disguise. With that thought, he searched for options. Instead of quitting, Teddy applied for part-time jobs on campus, took tutoring sessions for juniors, and even started baking pastries using his old skills from the bakery. The extra income kept his family afloat, proving once more that possibilities appear when you search with the right eyes. One evening, while walking home, Teddy passed through the village square and saw Sonny again. The old man, thinner now but still radiant, listened quietly as Teddy poured out his journey. Sonny chuckled. "You've learned the lesson, lad. The world won't stop throwing storms, but you've learned to build sails instead of hiding." Teddy felt tears in his eyes. It was as though life had deliberately sent Sonny into his path to shift the course of his destiny. Years rolled by, and Teddy graduated with honors. He secured a job in a reputable firm, something his younger self would never have dared to imagine. Yet his greatest pride wasn't his degree, it was his mindset. Colleagues noticed that Teddy never complained when things went wrong. He stayed calm in crises and always found a solution. Soon, he became known as the one who sees doors where others see walls. But Teddy's story didn't end there. Remembering Sonny's kindness, he felt a responsibility to pass the lesson on. He began mentoring younger students, telling them about his failures, his struggles, and how shifting perspective changed his life. He gave talks in schools and villages, encouraging others to ask, "Where is the possibility in this?" His words reached hearts because they weren't theory. They were born from lived pain and resilience. One day, Teddy was invited back to his old village to speak at a gathering. Standing on the very bench where he had once sat broken, he looked at the crowd and said, "Problems are part of life, but the real battle is in your eyes. If you look for walls, you'll stop. If you look for roads, you'll walk further than you ever dreamed." The villagers, who once mocked him, now applauded with admiration. Some even wept, realizing they had once been trapped in the same mindset Teddy had escaped. Later, Teddy visited Sonny one final time. The old man, resting in his small cottage, smiled faintly as Teddy entered. "You've done well, lad," Sonny whispered. "Now you're the one carrying the torch." Teddy sat beside him, holding his frail hand, feeling a surge of gratitude. Sonny passed away peacefully months later, but his legacy lived on through Teddy's mission. From that day, Teddy lived not just for himself, but for others. He dedicated his weekends to guiding troubled youth, teaching them the art of seeing possibilities. He knew life would never stop testing him, but he had learnt the greatest secret of all: perspective is power. Problems will always come, sometimes bigger than we expect. But as Teddy's story shows, we hold the power to decide whether to treat them as barriers or as hidden opportunities. The moment you shift your perspective, life itself begins to transform. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need hope today. Together, let's keep fueling the inner spark.